Well, how you doing today? We just had Thanksgiving of this year, and that got me thinking about the old days. The old days of the family get-togethers for the holidays. And that's how it was for me, all the way from the age of 0 up through Easter 1994. A few months after that, my one grandmother, who was pretty much the person running the entire event, died, and there were no more family get-togethers ever after that. But it was always a good time. We would all do the same thing. My family and like the other relatives and families and stuff would all get together, get in the car, go over to the grandparents' house out in the country, kind of a little bit, and we'd be there for lunchtime and then dinner time. And after lunch and before dinner, all the kids would either go out in the yard for a while or be watching TV or playing games or just reading a book, doing whatever you do. And uh, invariably, once he got done talking to the other parents and grandparents downstairs, my one uncle would always come upstairs with his oldest son, go in the living room, sit down. Didn't matter what anyone else was doing. If we were watching a TV show or anything, he'd get in there, put on the game, put on the sports. We're watching the sports, football, basketball, whatever it was. Nobody else wanted to watch sports, and every single year, every single holiday, put on the sports. Maybe that's part of the reason why I couldn't care less about any sports team in any sport anywhere. Whatever. That was one of those things that happened every single time. If you go onto my website, loudmouthtim.com, home of online video, the longest running web series in the history of the internet, go on the Green Web Shows tab, scroll down to episode 136, Disintegration. You can see video of my grandparents' house, the way it was then. After the grandparents had died, the house was sold. Someone else owned it for a few years. They lost it to foreclosure. The house sat empty for a few years, which is when I came by with my camera and walked through the place to videotape that episode. And then a year or two after that, someone else bought the place, cleaned it up, fixed it up. I go by there once in a while when I'm in the area. It looks okay now. But anyhow, I think about the old days and how it was then, and I think about how things are now. People tend to live farther apart, maybe not just 10, 20 miles apart, but in different cities, different states. And, this brother or sister or aunt or uncle or parent or whatever, they're in another state. They're going to go visit their other relatives' parents. And, someone got married and they're going to their wife's family's house instead of coming to our family's house or whatever for the event. Things have just really spread out a lot over the years. Way back then when I was growing up, it was always, you get together with the whole family and have holiday dinner. That's what you do. That's how it is. So things change over time and not necessarily for the better. But it was good times while it happened. And thinking back, I realized this. I didn't realize it at the time when we were going to my grandparents' house for the holidays. That house was very small, very tiny. The stairway to the basement was like 2 feet wide at most. Walking through the house with the camera, maybe you don't really notice it, but trust me, that house was small. And my grandparents built that house when they got married. And why didn't they build? I mean, they didn't have any money back then, but build the thing a little bigger if you're going to live here for your entire life. Not just be in this teeny little house where you can barely walk around and walk 10 feet this way, 10 feet that way. You're hitting a wall or you're in another room. But anyhow, that was the old days. Now, so think about it, write some comments. How has things changed for you and your family get togethers at the holidays? Are they the same or are they all different now? Aside from all that, I still have my right side here at the camera, the Trump, I can't move the right way, the Trump and Harris sign. Someone won, someone lost. Happy about that. And I printed out from my funny photos collection on the computer one other sign to take over to the laundromat and put up by the change machine here for the holidays. And this is a real comment on how things are these days and how they've been for quite a few years. Some crazy homeless Santa, whatever that guy's supposed to be in the picture. Yeah, I don't go for that whole spending a lot thing, you know. I don't buy people big gifts just to get them something big, you know. I buy them something that I think will be useful to them. You know, I don't want to get you something that's going to sit on a shelf for 50 years and never be touched. You know, I don't do that, you know. I'll get you like a gift card or a gasoline card or something I know that you can actually use and use now. That's how I am with gift giving. Anyhow, I think back to the old days of when, me and the other relatives, we were the little kids running around, and the parents and grandparents were all having their all boring conversations about stuff the kids knew nothing about, so it was boring to us instantly. And now I'm older now than the parents were then. I think, oh boy, I'm expected to be at this level of the whole hierarchy doing those things. And I guess, up to a point I am. All right, I'm getting off track here. Anyhow, I was thinking about the holidays and how they used to be and how they are, and that's why I thought I'd stop and make this video. So that's all for today. It's just a short episode. Think back to how your holidays were, write some comments about it. Look at my episode 136 on loudmouthtim.com and see this is where Loudmouth Tim, as a little pre-Loudmouth Tim, went for all the family get-togethers and things. Yeah. All right, well, that's all for this episode.